Thank you, Atul. That was a real eye-opener. And I hand over to Alok to build on this and any other information that he can provide.
Yeah, the first information is just Sitaram Yechuri's eldest son passed away.
Okay.
Atul bhaiya.
Oh, God.
Ashish Yechuri.
Yeah,
So
for
this
our
message-
viewers, please explain who is Sitaram Yechuri.
Sitaram Yechuri, I think,
Due to COVID?
yeah, COVID. He was a Politburo member of CPM and he was a general secretary and one of the most.
Today he's the general secretary of the CPM.
Yes.
He's the general secretary of the CPM, which is one of the few national parties that we have, which still has a government in Kerala, which had a government for 35 years in Bengal, which had a government in Tripura. At one time, 3 states were ruled by the CPM, and which is if I may update the history thing, is that the history of CPM was a combined party called CPI, Communist Party of India, made the first democratically elected communist government in the world in Kerala long time back.
So anyway, now just to add to what Atul bhai was saying, see, actually, if you look from a larger perspective, so we can find flaws in the systems and all that is true. But the fact of the matter is that we really do not know what is happening with this whole COVID thing. Right? What appears that US has come out of it and England has come out of it. England has just finished the second wave and now they are trying to open up after a year. Right? So actually, this whole biological stuff, we do not know what is actually true with the virus. Because by that time, you can call it mutants and strains and all that. But what happens if, imagine if the virus is fast changing its strain? That means what we are talking about is herd immunity. And herd immunity is not going to happen unless everybody has it. So that wise, what is happening is fine, because when everybody has it, then maybe a larger population will be exposed to COVID virus. But we should also understand, as it appears now, I'm not giving into the conspiracy theories that this is all planned and this is all worked up for the benefit of pharmaceuticals. Obviously, there are a lot of people who have benefited from this whole thing, right from ventilator crisis, which was happening last year, to the medications which are not available. Vaccines, obviously, as we were discussing, we don't know which one is the good one. Pfizer is working on a different technology, which is they are giving in US. I don't know what they're giving in Australia. Here, the vaccine Covishield, or which is AstraZeneca and all that, whether it goes and alters the immunity, which the whole immune system takes a dip, and that is the point when people get infected. Or is it that it is just incidental and even before the immunity builds up, people have COVID? But the vaccine is definitely doing something. Even if it is positive, it means it is mitigating the impact of COVID virus and reducing the severity of symptoms. But we should understand as a human race that we are going to live with this virus. Whether it is planned, it's conspiracy, it's natural. I think about it in a different way. Now look at it. Look at the whole thing from the past. If nature evolves something, then nature also has an antidote of it. Largely, at a very, very large scale, if nature has a poison, it has an antidote. Or if it does a mutation, in the larger system, it has mechanisms to balance it. Even if it goes out of control, something like a Spanish flu or the pandemics of the past, it will naturally come back to whatever the larger plan of nature is, the biological plan. But here we are talking about something which we have induced into the nature. So if we have induced this virus by our own genetic engineering, it's a question which the scientists have to answer. And with all my love for science, these days I'm seriously questioning this, that are we scientists responsible, or should we do some introspection? Like, this, you have heard about new techniques of genetic engineering where they cut genes and slice gene and recombine. You can do all that. I mean, obviously that is just engineering. There's no big deal about it. The question is, once you release such things into the nature will per force have to respond to it. In the response itself, there will be a lot of chaos, because it will be like a deviation from the path which nature was taking. You suddenly induce something, it has to divert the whole thing. And that is why it is happening. So it is going to be there. So we will live, COVID will live, some of us will get infected, and different spikes will keep coming. Now, the big question is how the governments will handle it, which, as Atul bhai clearly said, it's about the being prepared for the whole thing, the preparedness of the nation, and both in sense of economy and in the sense of medical support system. And that is the big question for India.
Yes, and bringing India in is very valuable, and I agree with Atul saying that, we, despite the fact that we had the warning as such, we never did it to the extent that we could control it. Now, on the other hand, we pride ourselves as Indians, whether we are abroad or wherever else, that we can solve the most complex of problems. And so there are two questions that I want to ask both of you. One is, do you think India has the capacity to solve it, whether it's through an NRI or through an indigenous Indian living in India? Or the second question is, do we have to be dependent on the external scientific research and then take an action? So second one would be much more, I would say, detrimental and I would say deadly for the population that's suffering now and probably will suffer in the future. If the first one is acted upon, that we have the knowledge, we can do the research work, we are known to be what you call beavers, who can get into a damn thing and get the problem sorted out, or at least problem identified.
All these are myths. Let us break the myth about India. Let us be very clear. I am telling you very, very nasty things. India is totally exposed. I'll tell you what India will do. India has not done vaccine research. The vaccine research is coming from abroad, right? And US, see the example of US. The way they have managed their vaccination and roped in private players is much better than India has done it. There's a lot of chaos happening in India, which Atul bhai can also tell you. The second thing is, do you think it's an Indian origin vaccine? Have we created it? No. The problem is, we are very good story makers. We are very good myth creators. And we are so many that in spite of this drama, lot of us will survive. And then we'll pat our backs all across the world, all Indians sitting from US to Australia to India. See, we have done it. We have not done it. We will just survive. And those who survive will create a story out of it. The fact of the matter is, problem solving is not happening. Problem solving does not happen the way it is being done. Indians are very fond of talking about our great spiritual, intellectual stuff, but no spiritual. What spiritual stuff we are talking? If we are not afraid of death, why are we behaving the way we are behaving? Our spirituality told us to go beyond death. Na? Why are we afraid then? Abhi to death hai, hone do. What is the big deal about it? Abhi demonetization Pradhan Mantri karta hai. People start hankering after money and we say we are immaterialist people. See how much falsity India can live in and how much falsity Indians can live in. We are spiritual people. We have conquered great thought. If you must have conquered in the past, the question is, what are you doing now? India is not contributing to scientific research, sir. Please be very clear about it.
That's a revelation for me.
No, what? You tell me. If you have any
Because
data, you show it.
I'm not at the cold face of that one, so I have to agree with you.
So, no, we are a labor-intensive country. Please understand, sir. We can produce huge amount of vaccine. You understand? But vaccine is not being made by us. We can create huge amount of data. We can create huge amount of processes because we have so many. But the source of research is coming from other countries. We have to be interdependent. So our false egos which say that we can sort out problems, you know what we can sort out problems? We can sort out just by being more human. So India has a great strength and lessons from the past which teach us how to be more human. If you come and see India, what is happening in India today during COVID times, the only thing we require is to be more human, be slightly more sacrificing, not get into this greed. People out of anxiety are doing behaviors which are in no way can be exonerated or excusable. Right from hoarding of medicines to getting unnecessary testing to using their cloud to getting admitted to hospitals, where there are more people who will be needing. So what India needs is they should go back to sit quiet, go back to resources for people like Gandhi, Buddha and Krishna if you want.
Yes.
Learn from them how to behave like a human to the other person. See, sir, you living in Australia, you wouldn't see these problems. You know why? Because there are less number of people. Everybody is behaving humanly. Everybody is following the traffic rules. India, you have seen India. In peacetime, there is so much chaos. In crisis time, the chaos multiplies. So what we can do and what we can give to the world is, I mean, there is still hope. The hope is how to manage so many people. And if we can be honest and fair in providing medical support, economic support to everybody, to all strata of society, like what Atul bhai was pointing out, that is what we can do best. So what we can best do is human management. Scientific research, yes, we are doing it. We have not got any breakthrough. There may be other streams of medicine, Ayurveda, this and that, which may bring out the modern medicine, the modern research in India cannot happen in isolation. That's what I'm trying to say. It has to be in tandem and using the technology which is already there. So something will come out. I'm not.
Yeah. Thank you.